Okay, hi everybody again. I just wanted to finish off the class that I was doing earlier, which is really accompanying this book, and I'm going to be doing loads of lessons accompanying this book, so please do buy this book. It's on Amazon, or get in touch with me, put a comment under the video, or send an email to me. You can find my email address on this website or on YouTube somewhere, or you can look at it here. Here it is. Send me an email, sethpecksniff99 at gmail.com. Okay, that is my email. If anyone would like a PDF copy of either of my books, then please get in touch. Now, I don't think I did a good job just on the last part of the Michel Foucault quote earlier. I got a little bit confused. I'm not sure how it happened. But we were talking about noun clauses. And the reason I took this Michel Foucault quote is because it's absolutely bursting with noun clauses. They're everywhere in this part, and it's a sentence like this which would be really difficult for sentence analysis, and it's partly because it's full of noun clauses. So a noun clause, I want to make it really clear a couple of things, a couple of properties that a noun clause has. So number one, it's always subordinate. Now, why do I say that? It doesn't look like a subordinate clause sometimes. Now, let me give you an example, one which I had earlier. I had this one. I didn't know that he was married. I did this sentence earlier. I didn't know that, and that is a subordinating conjunction here, he was married. Now, this he was married is a noun clause. Why is it a noun clause? Because it's got everything that it needs to be a clause. It's got a subject, he, and a verb, was married. But it's functioning as the object of know, and we said that objects of verbs must be nouns. So it's functioning as a noun. So we call it a noun clause. But what I want you to notice is that if you just look at he was married, yeah, we very often say, I didn't know he was married, and we drop the that. We drop the subordinating conjunction. But that doesn't mean that this is a main clause. It looks like a main clause. If you just look at it and you think he was married, is that a complete thought? Yes, it is. Certainly it is. And it can be written as a main clause. If you just write that, he was married full stop, then you've got a main clause. I totally agree that that is on its own a main clause. But when you put it as the object of know, it is never a main clause in the sense that it depends on the verb for its meaning. It's the object of the verb, so it really depends on the verb. So it is subordinate to, it is subordinate to the verb. It is lower down the hierarchy that I keep going on about. So in that sense, a noun clause is never a main clause, because a noun clause will always be subject of verb or object of verb or object of preposition. It will always be one of those three things, which means that it can't be a main clause. A noun clause can't be a main clause. It's always a subordinate clause. Okay, now you can see this a little bit more easily when you include the that. Because if you say, I didn't know that he was married, I think everybody can see here that you could actually change the order. Firstly, you could say that he was married, I didn't know. You can do that. And when you do that, it's really quite clear that you've got a subordinate clause. You add the that, and it's clear that it doesn't make sense on its own. That he was married, it doesn't make sense on its own. It's clearly subordinate. But without the that, it does look like a main clause. So please be aware that even without this that, it's still not the main part of the sentence. The main part of the sentence, the main clause is here, subject and verb and object. That's the main clause, that one. And this one is just inside the main clause, and it's a subordinate clause. So let's come back to Michel Foucault. And we had subject, verb, object. Noun clause as the object of know. And then we've got subject, verb, object. And here in the object we've got two noun clauses, where the first noun clause has subject, verb, And then object. Don't know why I put subject here. Subject, verb, object. Yeah, why they do. But the object here, why they do, the object of do is what they do. So you've got a noun clause within a noun clause. And I was actually quite happy with the way I explained that earlier. Yeah, that we've got a noun clause, which is the object of know. And then within that why they do, we've got another noun clause, which is the object of why they do what they do. This noun clause is the object of that verb. It's really very complicated, but you can see that this is the thing about grammar. You can get clauses within clauses within clauses. You can get phrases within clauses within phrases. You can get a lot of different strange elements out there where things are within other things. They're packed inside it. Now let's look at this last one, which was the one I didn't think I did a good job with. And have a look at this. But what they don't know. Now I called this the subject, and I'm happy I did because it's right. This is the subject of this verb is, yeah? But it's a noun clause again. And why do I call it a noun clause? Because we've got a subject, they, a verb, don't know. And we've got an object, and this is what I'm annoyed I missed. The object, the what, is the object, okay? And the same with this what here, it is the object. No, sorry, this what here, but let's do that in a second, let's not rush. So here we've got object, and then subject, and then verb. And you often get this, when you say, in questions you get it, something like, what languages does he speak? And the does speak is the verb part, the he is the subject, and the what languages is the object, but it comes right at the beginning. So you see this in questions where the object comes right at the beginning, but you also see it in noun clauses. But what they don't know, the what is the object. It's they don't know this what. This what stands in for the object of what they don't know. Okay, so that's the object is what, object, what they do, subject, and then does, verb. That's the way I should have written it earlier. Yeah, they don't know is what, object, what they do. What they do, this what is referring to what they do. Sorry, it's the object of does. Yeah, what they do is the subject and does. Hang on, have I got that round the wrong way? Is what they do, does. Yeah, it does this, it does this. So this is the object, this is the subject, the what they do. And notice that the subject again is a noun clause, yeah? You've got a subject, they, and a verb, and an object. This object is, the what again is an object. That's what's confusing me. This what is the object of does, and this what is the object of do. So that's a very confusing sentence, and I hope I've done a little bit better there at explaining how it actually is put together in terms of subjects, verbs and objects, and especially in terms of this thing called the noun clause. It's very important because actually you can get adjectival clauses. They're called relative clauses. If you want to know more about those, just type in relative clause Mr. Skype lessons into the YouTube search bar and you'll find out more about adjectival clauses. So you can get noun clauses, you can get adjectival clauses, you can also get adverbial clauses. And adverbial clauses usually start with a subordinating conjunction. They normally tell you the when, the where, the how or the why of the main clause. And so they start with words like because, if, while, whereas, when, as soon as long as. Any one of those subordinating conjunctions, they usually start as adverbial clauses. So they're the three types of clause, and that's very useful for when you're breaking up sentences into different parts. Okay, so that was all I really wanted to say for today, just to finish that, what I was talking, just to finish off analysing this particular quote, and also to make it really clear that noun clauses are never main clauses. Neither are adjectival clauses, neither are adverbial clauses. Yeah, a relative clause is never a main clause, and a clause starting with a subordinating conjunction is never a main clause. Okay, so be aware that noun clauses, adjectival clauses and adverbial clauses are never main clauses, but they're within the main clause, perhaps describing the main clause, in which case they'd be adverbial, perhaps describing a noun in the main clause, in which case they'd be adjectival, or perhaps functioning as subject, such as here we had the subject of the verb is, but not only there, we also had Here we've got subject of the verb does. Yeah, and so it might be subject of a verb, or it might be the object of a verb. And let's have a look at this noun clause. People know what they do. That's the object of the verb know. Or the object of a preposition. Now, there isn't one down here that's the object of a preposition, but I'm pretty sure I can come up with an example. So I am thinking about what I want to wear tonight. Yeah, I am thinking about subject and verb, then preposition about what I want to do tonight. You've got subject, verb and object all in that clause at the end, the noun clause. That's the object of the preposition about. Okay, so yeah, be aware that these are how noun clauses function. And if you want more information on this type of stuff, please buy my book. It's on Amazon. If you want to buy a PDF copy, no problem. Just leave your name under the video or send me an email. Send an email to sefpecksniff99@gmail.com and let me know how you would like to buy the book. I assume you want a PDF if you're getting in touch with my email. I'm afraid I can't send you hard copies, guys. Amazon do the hard copies for me. I don't like Amazon. I wish I could use somebody else. If you have other companies out there that you know do also provide self-publishing services, let me know about them and I'll try and get my book on there. I want it available to as many people as possible, obviously, and I certainly would like to hear about other options to Amazon, because I don't like Amazon. They ripped me off only recently by making me sign up to Amazon Prime without my knowledge, and I'm sure it's happened to loads of you out there as well. And so I hate Amazon as much as you hate Amazon, but buy the PDF then if you really don't like the idea of buying from Amazon, or give me another option. Let me know some other places where I can get the book published, and with pleasure I'll make an effort to do so. I know Amazon don't send to certain countries. I know they don't often send to Russia, for example, and somebody said they don't send to Poland. Well, let me know about some other places where I can put the book up, and of course I'll make it available. Okay, so thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate your support and I hope to see you all soon.